Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Castle Keeper Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today's video is going to be another character class spotlight. And today I'm going to be taking a look at the Ethereal Knight. So if you've been following this series of character class spotlights, particularly the ones that are coming out of the Adventurer's Backpack, um, you probably realize by now that these are very niche character classes. These are, I think that they're probably best used as NPC character classes, so that you can have your typical player character classes, and your players encounter these in the world, and um, they really become part of a very specific task that they might be trying to complete. But if you're going to run these as a player character class, and you have, one or a few players looking to play these, I think it really does make it a very interesting thing to challenge yourself as a castle keeper, and allow your players to challenge themselves as players to role play some of these classes as well. So, without further ado, let's jump right into taking a look at the Ethereal Knight. So, I am going to switch views here and take you right into it. So, the Ethereal Knight class is a constitution based class. Beyond the physical world lie a host of other worlds, dimensions that defy the imagination, realms where gods dwell, planes of chaos and law, of evil and good, where the intangible holds dominion. The multiverse, a kaleidoscope of realities, is known only to a few, and to those it is dangerous to the unwary and deadly for the inexperienced. But there are those who are bound to the extra dimensional worlds, whether through cosmic accident or something more articulated. These are the travelers, the planeswalkers, the ethereal knights. I love the fact that, these are obviously coming out of second edition Planescape, or at least the concepts of them are, and these may or may not even um, predate, because Castles and Crusades basically started to be worked on in 2003 and 4, I believe, and they were officially released um, in like 2005 or 6. These might actually predate the idea of planeswalkers in Magic the Gathering as well. So, so long history of these kinds of characters in the world, coming out of Planescape, I believe. So let's continue. The Ethereal Knight is a planewalker. They possess a connection with the planes beyond the material. At times, they are aware of this. At others, they come into the knowledge much after hardship and toil. Because of this, they are gifted with extra sense that allows them to both see into other dimensions and dimensional spaces, and at times to travel there. They can channel the powers of those same dimensions into and through themselves, or by bringing them to the material plane in the guise of creatures great and small, or even imbuing items with extra worldly powers. The ethereal knights come from all walks of life. They pay heed to no deity in particular, nor philosophy or creed. Born with the second sight of the planeswalker, they are cursed or blessed depending with whom you talk. Some embrace their condition, revealing the power that gives them a deeper understanding of the extra dimensional worlds. Still others curse it, for it is wearisome to them, the knowledge that they are but a plaything for the universe, or worse, an insignificant pawn on the game board that defies comprehension. No matter their condition, they are all individuals driven by a deep ambition or purpose, or through the lust of a redemption all their own. So, as I said, this class actually gives both the castle keeper and the player or players um, a wide variety of role playing opportunities dealing with this character class. Weapons and instruments of death are countless and varied, and know no boundaries save the imagination of those who wield them. They take many shapes and sizes, particularly in those deep planes and realities an earthreal knight passes through. Thus, earthreal knights are able to take up nearly any weapon. They are unerringly and unerringly, sorry, bent towards learning and understanding new things, and it is for this reason that ethereal knights have no restrictions on weapons they may wield. Much like their weapons, it should be an ethereal knight's choices of armor depends on where and when they happen to be in the multiverse. Heavy or light armors do not restrict their abilities nor impede them in any but the most mundane of ways. They take up the shield as easily as don a breastplate or a suit of chainmail. At times, exotic, at others ordinary, the armor of the ethereal knight takes many forms. So their abilities. Let me just pause for a moment. Okay, sorry about that delay. So abilities. So the first ability is a Fate's Arm. At first level, the ethereal knight chooses a single item, a weapon, piece of armor, or even equipment that is associated with their character in a meaningful way. The item can be any one from the equipment list in the player's handbook, the adventurer's backpack, or any other source material. The chosen item is sentient and possesses an alignment and a will. The alignment of the item is determined randomly by rolling on the table below. The item's alignment does not necessarily have to correspond to that of the character, but if it does not, it, it impacts the Ethereal Knight's adventures in different ways, and you're going to see that below. So here we have the alignment chart. The item begins play with a will of 17. This entitles it to one lesser power. This power should be chosen or rolled randomly. The item grows in power with its wielder. From, for every 2 levels, the Ethereal Knight gains the item's will increases by 1. At third level, the item's will is at 18. At fifth level, it is a 19, and so on. The item's will cannot be reduced aside from destroying the item. If the Ethereal Knight is reduced in levels, it does not lower the item's will. The item is considered a magic item. Its bonuses determined by its will and by what type of magic item it is. If the item is a weapon, its bonuses apply towards to hit and or damage, as noted below. If the item is armor, a shield, or a helm, its bonuses apply to armor class as noted in the table below. If the item is a piece of equipment, it gains a bonus as noted in the table below. However, the bonus applies towards its intended design. For example, a rope's bonus would apply towards binding or climbing, while a cloak's bonus would apply towards protection against the weather. An item's purpose and bonuses should be determined by the player and the castle keeper prior to the introduction into the campaign. And so here we have it. So one of the most powerful items you would have with a will of 23, which would occur when the player character is level 13, would be a +4 to hit, +6 to damage, or a +3 to armor class or general purpose. The item is capable of speech, any. Prior to that, it's 1 to 6 languages, 1 to 4 languages, 1 to 2 languages. So it can actually have additional languages. And like I said, at 13th level, the item can speak every language. Its sense is the item gains sight at level 5. It has sight and hearing all the way through beyond that. So here's an image of a ethereal knight. In addition, all items possess a special purpose assigned to them by the gods or fate or whatever powers govern or guide it. The item's purpose may or may not align with the character's own purpose, designs, or desires. If the item's alignment does not correspond to the character's alignment, its special purpose should be at cross purposes with those of the characters. Use the following table or consult with the castle keeper and create one that best fits the designs of the characters and the campaign. So its purpose, so this is the item's purpose. It could be to overthrow an alignment, champion an alignment, find its creator, destroy its creator, defeat or slay particular creatures, defeat or slay a particular race or kind of creature, defend a particular race or kind of creature, destroy a deity or its followers, defend a deity and or its followers, destroy the world, or choose one. All right. If the item is destroyed, the ethereal knight suffers a level loss based upon the will of the item. If the item was a will 17, then 1 level is lost. If the item is 18, 2. If 19, then 3 levels are lost, and so on to a maximum of 6 levels. So wow, that's pretty impressive. Um, so severe consequence to having your item destroyed. Intuition. The ethereal knight is a quick study and is able to grasp new concepts easily. They gain a +2 bonus to all intelligence checks. This is particularly true concerning languages. They can learn languages in half the time it normally takes one to learn a new language and have no limit to the number of language slots they possess. They can begin play with 3 languages, common, and a choice of 2 others. Plane shift, which is a constitution based ability. Uh, at level 3, the ethereal knight is able to plane shift. They can travel to any point on the plane with which they have familiarity or knowledge, including the astral and ethereal planes. This includes the astral and ethereal planes. At 4th level, they can transport themselves to one other person, increasing capacity by 1 additional person per level to a maximum of 8 people plus themselves at level 10. So a fifth level, so at 5th level, they can transport themselves and 2 others. At 6th level, 3 others, and so on. So 7th, 8th level. At 8th level, they can bring pretty much themselves and a party of 5. So that's kind of the sweet spot for this to be in the player party group. This maxes out at level 10 with themselves and up to 8 people. They cannot transport someone unaccompanied. Each plane shift temporarily weakens the ethereal knight. They suffer temporary loss of D4 points of constitution, which replenishes at a rate of 1 point for every hour of rest. See invisible and extraplanar. At 5th level, the ethereal knight is able to see invisible creatures. This includes those from the astral or ethereal planes. At 7th level, another intelligence based ability, they can contact other plane. The ethereal knight can attempt to contact a creature on another plane. Once contact is established, they can communicate freely. They must have prior knowledge or experience with the creature in question. This knowledge can be as simple as reading about the creature in a book or scroll, hearing about them in a prophecy or something similar, just so long as they are aware of the creature's existence. They must concentrate and focus in order to create a communication link with the creature, requiring a successful intelligence check to complete. The challenge level is determined on the following table below if it is resistant to contact. Otherwise, the challenge level is 0, which means that you would have your base roll without any negative modifier. The elemental plane, the challenge level is 3 plus the target hit die. Um, Astral plane or demigod is a 5 plus target. Outer planes or lesser god is a 9 plus target hit die, and outer plane or greater god is a 12 plus target. So this is the challenge level. So you would have to roll somewhere in the 30s or 40s in order to contact this. Now you're going to add your class level as well. So let's say you're adding your class level, and then your base ability is a 12. So then you're adding your class level. Let's say your 13th level. So now your base is a plus 23. All right, to your roll. The challenge is going to be a 12 plus the target's HD. So let's say the target's HD is 13 as well, so a 25. So you're going to have to roll at least a 2 because you have the plus 23, right? It doesn't sound as difficult as it is, but this is dealing with a planeswalker that is, near maximum level, and trying to reach out there. So it's not going to be as easy a task, obviously, to uh, reach the outer plane or a greater god with your contact. Summon Planar Ally at level 10 is the Ethereal Knight is able to summon a Planar Ally. The creature must be extraplanar and its hit die may not exceed that of the Ethereal Knight. The ally must belong to a species or type the Ethereal Knight is familiar with, species or type. They allow and the ally is bound to conduct a single service for the Ethereal Knight, then may freely return to its home plane. If for some reason it does not depart to its native plane, it may or may not, depending on its nature and its treatment during its time of service, and the castle keeper's discretion, attack the Ethereal Knight. This would probably come in particular if you're pulling something that would normally have animosity towards you. It will carry out the one task and then most likely turn against you, or it can kind of flee and run amok, and now the Ethereal Knight will have to take care of the consequences of that as well. So need to be a little wary of that. So the primary attribute of a Ethereal Knight is Constitution. Its alignment is any. Its hit die is a D12. Its weapons are any. Armor any. I already went over the abilities. They get a looks like they get a plus. They get a plus to basic to hit. At 2 and 3 is a +1. At 4 and 5 is a +2. At 6 and 7 +3. So every 2 levels, basically. It goes up at 12. It maxes out at +6. And there we have the Ethereal Knight. So let me switch back over to views here and come back over. So as you can see, I mean, it's a really interesting class, and it's a class that if you have one in your party, uh, their role for being an usher, let's say, to extra planar travel for the rest of the party really does become their primary role. And that is really going to drive, I think, the campaign for the castle keeper and the rest of the players. Because having this ability is something that you as a castle keeper are going to have to, not only just be aware of it, but you're actually going to have to plan on it as well. And so it's the kind of it's the kind of class that I, as a castle keeper, would consider to be the primary focus of the campaign, or at least for a significant amount of it, because it is going to play that role so often. Hold on, let me check on that phone call. Sorry about that. So as you can see, a really interesting class, one that will take a bit of care in order to allow in your campaign, or a bit of care in order to play this class. But certainly just another opportunity, as I've been saying throughout all of these character class spotlights, another opportunity for role play, and it's something that is significantly outside of the box for most players, and probably for most castle keepers as well. So, you know, anytime you go on these edges of what is normally done, it should be really treated as an opportunity for some exciting play. So, I hope you like this video, and please feel free to put your questions and comments in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And as always, hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the alert so that you get alerts for new uploads. And you know, delve into the. I always link them, so delve into the back catalog of all of my Castles and Crusades videos. There's roughly like 56 or 57 of them now. So definitely check those out. And Troll Lord Games, the publisher of Castles and Crusades, is still running a Kickstarter currently. So definitely check that out. That is for the Player's Armory, which is just a tremendous number of new weapons and mounts, and all kinds of really interesting and cool stuff, both from real world and fantasy, making its way into the game. So I certainly encourage you to go take a look at that. It's in its last like 3 days of the Kickstarter. It did very, very well. It's close to another stretch goal. So if you are going to consider doing that, certainly get in on that, and hopefully we can hit that next stretch goal, which is going to be demi-human weapons. So just additional demi-human weapons added to the mix. So really excited about getting my hands on those books, and and then implementing them, and including them in my Castles and Crusades campaigns going forward. So thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. This is a holiday weekend for us in the United States. And so I will be back on probably Wednesday. I'd probably take away from July 4th completely. So I will see you all with the next video on Wednesday. Have a great day.